Hello, and welcome to another installment of Stephen Follows Instructions. Now, I'm just still getting set up here. As always, I have to start the stream before I tweet that I'm going live. But today, we're doing a session on creating a web-based drawing application using Canvas. So I'm just getting going here. This should be fired up. There we go. And I'll now look into my YouTube channel and try to find the actual video URL so I can tweet it, so I can get my usual 1 or 2 people audience. Creating a web-based drawing application using Canvas. There we go, and I will make sure that's muted so that we don't get feedback and echo. Yeah, okay. All right, Stephen Follows Instructions live now on YouTube. My usual typo for Google. Tweet that out. All right, so maybe we'll get some people to follow, maybe we won't. It really doesn't matter, does it? So, and maybe one day people will watch this in the future. Don't know why, but there you have it. All right, never mind. Here's what we're up to today. We are going to... Oh, I've lost it. Oh, there it is. We're going to create a web-based drawing application using Canvas. Now again, I have not read this article. I have not previewed what to expect. So I will be discovering this as you discover this. I'm assuming that I'll need to use coding, like, you know, so I'll be using Visual Studio Code, things like that, but we'll see. Let me put this into a bit of context, though, for you. I'm working right now on Grasshopper, and this is Grasshopper. It doesn't look like much when you first start it up, but you know, it unfolds pretty quickly into ways of making things. So here, for example, is how you can make a new post in Grasshopper. Just make a new post, right? So there we go. And, you know, there are other functions in Grasshopper as well. There are personal functions in Grasshopper. Let's go back to the editor. You see it fills up pretty quickly. Now, somewhere in this mess, I want an option to create diagrams on the fly so that you don't have to, I don't know, stop, open up a drawing tool, create it, save it, and then upload it to whatever you're working on, etc. So that's what I'm up to. So we probably won't work much with Grasshopper today, if at all. And maybe one day in the future I'll do live coding sessions on Grasshopper, but not today. So today we're just trying to get the skill needed because, you know, I mean, I can't just write these applications. I first have to learn how to write them and then write them. So the whole thing becomes a whole exercise in learning, you know, self-managed learning for me. All right, let's see if anyone's watching. And we have one person. We had 2, but then they dropped off. That might have been me. This might still be me. We don't know. And we're still muted there. So sound should be good. If not, oh well. I mean, right. Okay, let's go to it then. So, combining HTML, this is, wow, ooh. Okay, I should also mention, okay, this is from 2010, so they're working with the all-new Canvas feature, okay? I have a backup article in Pocket. Here it is. Oh, that's LTI. That's for something for the future. But here's my backup one. And, so yeah, this is going to be fun in the future. Once I get this drawing thing working, I'm going to try to make LTI work with Grasshopper. And that's going to actually be interesting to educational technologists. But that's another day. But I do have this backup just in case this one doesn't work. 2010, it's 10 years old. A lot of stuff doesn't work after 10 years. A lot of stuff doesn't work after 1 year. But it's JavaScript, and it should be okay. So, okay. Today we'll build a simple online drawing application similar to mugtug.com/sketchpad. Let's see if that still works. And nope. So, yeah. Oh crap. Let's reopen closed tab and we'll go back to where we were. All right. So, okay. Creating a canvas in your site is simple as adding the canvas tag to your HTML document as shown below. All right. So, let's do that. I don't have an HTML document, but I mean, we can create one pretty quickly. What we'll do is we'll fire up Visual Studio Code. I love the way all of these icons disappear whenever I'm trying to do a video. But Visual Studio Code's down here in the dev section. It's Microsoft's wonderful, wonderful authoring tool. As usual, the file directories are on the left-hand side here. The actual editing screen is here, and if I need a terminal, I don't know if I'll need one for this, but if I need a terminal, I can just launch it and it opens up at the bottom of the screen. So let's open up a new project. So open folder. All my projects are in code projects. I'll create a new folder. We'll call it Canvas because, it seems like a good name for it. Open it up, select folder, and now brand new environment in, environments may be the wrong word, but brand new folder in Visual Studio Code. So we need an HTML page. So let's just create a new file. We'll call it index.htm. We'll edit it and we'll put the code in. And if I'm editing a web page, I should have a body, a head and a body and all of that, but this should work. So let's save that. Control S to save. And let's see what it looks like. So we'll open up the web browser again. I could probably get rid of some of these extra windows. You can see stuff I was working on yesterday. See the Berenstein Bears, because there was a reference to something by Bernstein and I couldn't get Berenstein Bears out of my head, so I just went with it. We'll leave Grasshopper here. And we'll leave Pocket here. And the video, let's not close the live streaming. Back up to 2 people. Hello, second person. Okay, so let's open our new window. It's Firefox, so it's really easy to just open a file. Open file. And where are we going? It's in D. This E is my new solid state drive. I love it so much. But Code Projects is still in D. And I called it Canvas. There's my misspelled index file. We'll open it, and well, nothing, but it's probably there. Let's see. Let's open image in new tab. So it's an image. Okay, well that's kind of cool. All right, so you can see the image is there, right? If I go here to view the page source, there's the source. But I can capture it as, I didn't know that. Open image in new tab. There's a blank canvas. So, neat. That's right off the bat. That's pretty darn cool. I can create an image. I can just save as an image. Save image as, and it would save it as a PNG, a portable network graphic. All right. So I've learned something already. All right, let's go back to our instructions. The element ID is not required, but is highly recommended, so you can find it later in JavaScript or CSS. Yeah. Okay. Below is an image of what we're making. Yours may look a bit different when we're completely finished. I hope it looks better, but who knows. As you can see, I'm a terrible drawer, but maybe after you're done creating your chalkboard, you can create an awesome masterpiece. After all, we're building the chalkboard, not the drawing. Yeah. Okay, what you'll need, basic understanding of HTML and JavaScript. You'll need Photoshop or another image editor. I have Photoshop. Code editor of your choice. We'll be using Visual Studio Code. Basic knowledge of HTML and JavaScript, demonstrated. Canvas supported browser, and basically everything except Internet Explorer, as usual. I will also be using the free Fugue icon pack. Okay. Let's see if it still exists. It's 10 years later, after all. And it does. How about that? Except it's not free anymore. Yeah, let's see. Purchase. Oh, okay. These icons are available under Creative Commons Attribution. Good enough. All right, so we'll come back to that when we need it. We know it exists, so might be a nice alternative to use instead of Font Awesome. I use that for Grasshopper. Like, this is Font Awesome. These are Font Awesome. If we were to go into the reader and look at a link, these little arrows are Font Awesome. So, you know, and the thing with Font Awesome is this is the basic set, so I don't get beautiful icons. I get basic icons. Oh, that's good enough for me, really. Doesn't need to be beautiful. The beauty is in the design anyways. Yeah, okay, right. Back here. Furthermore, we'll be using the following scripts: jQuery Tipsy tooltips. That might be optional. It doesn't exist anymore. Base 64 and Canvas to image library. That also doesn't exist anymore. But we'll see. All right. These might be findable anyways. Let's just quickly search Google. Facebook tooltip style. Yeah, okay, so it still exists, but the specific zip libraries that he linked to aren't in that location anymore. Canvas to image.zip. So canvas to image.zip. Of course, we've seen already, we can just right click and download and that'll do it, but okay. And that looks like an ad of some sort for things that are no doubt no longer existing. All right, step 3, getting started. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Let's do that. So we're going to create 3 new folders: JS, CSS, and images. So let's do that. Let's just check on the punctuation on images, capital I, lowercase for the rest. Those are the sorts of details you have to be really careful about when you're coding. You wouldn't think you have to, but you do. All right, so create new folder. That's this little icon here. Oh, that's right. I wanted to make this bigger so you can see it. I learned how to do that last time. But I don't remember how to do it. Appearance, zoom in, right, and view, appearance, zoom in, and we'll do it one more time. View, appearance, zoom in. There, now we can see our editor a bit better. Makes for better video. And so you can see here, I don't even need to bother with that tab. Open editors. I can see the list of open editors, but sometimes that list gets too long and you need the tab. Okay, so we're in Canvas. We're going to create 3 new directories. JS is one. Oops, gotta be careful. CSS is the next. And images is the third. All right, let's go back now to the markup. All right, 3 new folders, and okay, we jump pretty quickly. This is the basic markup for our code. Before writing the actual code, let's style this up a bit. I will not be showing you how to make the design in Photoshop, but you can download the images. Just be sure to copy all the images to the images folder that you just created. Well, let's first of all capture this, and we'll make this our... He hasn't told us what to do with this yet. Presumably nothing, but I'm going to make this index.html. So, oops, I'm going to create a new file in Canvas. Index with a D this time, .html, and we'll edit it. We'll actually delete this old one because we don't need it anymore. And I can just picture myself getting confused. All right, so that's the code that I just copied from that page. So all I did there is highlight the entire, see, I just highlight it, like click and drag, and then I do a right click, copy, and then I did a Control V to paste it into Visual Studio. Now, the CSS markup will create a new style sheet called styles.css and save it in our CSS folder. So let's do that same thing, right? Carset UTF-8. All right, copy it, right click, copy, and we'll go to Visual Studio Code, click on CSS, create a new file, which we'll call styles.css, world's least imaginative name, but who cares? Now Control V to paste, and as you can see, our styles are pasted in here. So this is okay. Oh, that's just a background image, margin, padding. Okay, nothing unusual in this. Well, this is interesting. This, like, everything, for everything. Default margin of 0, default padding of 0 for absolutely everything. That's actually not a bad idea. Some browsers like to assume you want margins and paddings on things. Anyhow, all right, back to here. Okay. I haven't told us what to do with styles.css. Is it actually even included in here? Yeah, there it is. Oh, look at this. Okay. Here's what he told us to create. CSS capital letters. Here's what his thing refers to. CSS lowercase letters. Not good. It might still work, but you know, you have to be careful with stuff like that. So, what do I want to do? Do I want to change the name of the directory? Maybe. Let's note it and log it. No, let's fix it now because it's a problem. I'm going to change the name of the directory. Rename CSS lowercase. And just because I'll bet you he does this all the way through, I'm going to change everything to lowercase. That's in fact what I actually do in my own projects. I tend to use lowercase directory names, and I don't know, it's not really an unwritten rule in the field, but that's what I see most often is lowercase directory names. This is the stuff that they never talk about, right? That's why I'm doing this series, because it's the stuff they never talk about. Okay. World's most boring video. Yeah, we're back down to one viewer again. Okay. I do have fun with that. It's the video series that nobody asked for and nobody wanted. Right. Moving along. Okay, so we got the CSS now. We're going to insert the canvas tag right into the Blackboard placeholder. Place the below code, place the code below, inside the Blackboard placeholder ID. Okay. So let's copy the code. Let's see if we can find the Blackboard placeholder ID. Yeah, there it is, right? Okay, so it's in a wrapper, a div, and the wrapper has that name. So let's go back to our code index. Okay, so here's what he means. Here's the div, Blackboard placeholder, and so we'll put the code inside that. Canvas begins, canvas ends. Now let's indent everything nicely so that we keep things neat. And we'll just scooch this over a little bit. Oh, and I haven't saved anything. Let's save that CSS file. Control S to save. And let's save index.htm. Control S to save. Why is that reporting unsaved? Don't know. Styles.css. Control S. Okay, well it should be saved. Don't know why that's there. Anyhow, okay, not a problem. Again, when you're developing, you have to watch things like this. You know, I just don't know what it means, and you need to be on top of these details. Okay. All right. So come back. Let's make this a bit bigger too, so you can read it along with me. There we go. So, all right. So we've put in the canvas tag. This is the exact width and height of the canvas we are creating, so there's no need to change that. Also, anything between the canvas tags will be displayed only if JavaScript has been disabled. So this stuff we only see if there's no JavaScript. Fine. Okay. Let's style the ID up a little bit. So we're going to add this to our styles. All right. Now, because I've made things bigger, we have to make sure I've copied the whole thing. Now, so I used Control-C there to copy. It's both the same, right? Right-click and copy, or Control-C. They both have the same impact. And so we'll go back to our CSS, styles.css, go to the bottom, and we'll insert that. So this is the drawing canvas. Now I don't know why he makes this all one big long line like that. In fact, boy, that's some not so nice coding. So I know it's temp canvas, but let's do it properly so that we don't get confused. There we go. And actually I prefer to see, I like lining them up like that. A lot of code you see it looks like this, but I like lining them up like that. Alright, so that's our canvas. So what do we know? We can style our drawing canvas. Okay, so let's save that. Alright. I will explain the temp canvas ID shortly. Okay. Yeah, I want to know why you just put it all in one line like that. Anyhow. JavaScript implementation. Now let's make our canvas function the way it should. Begin by creating a new JavaScript file and naming it canvas. Save this file within the JS folder. Okay. So, var context. Okay, so alright, so we're going to build this in stages. Gotta be careful. Alright, so let's make our JavaScript file. So we'll go into the JavaScript directory, make a new file, and call it, I think it was canvas, right? Canvas. Now we're not actually going to call it canvas. We're going to call it canvas.js, which is what he meant, but not what he said. Okay. Come back here. So we're going to begin by defining a variable called context. Okay. And I'm going to add a function to determine whether there is a canvas tag. And all right. Now let's note that we're opening the function here. Okay, so all of this is going to be in that function. Alright, he's carrying on. I'm just looking for the end of the function. There it is. Maybe. Maybe not. There it is. Alright. Okay, so we're going to create our function. So what we're doing here is we're adding an event listener. And the event's going to listen for load. And if it hears that, it's going to call an unnamed function. Unnamed because we don't really need to call it anything. Here's our function. We're going to define some variables. It's going to initialize. Do some error checking here. Build a temporary canvas. A little more error checking. Give it an ID and define width and a height for it. Define a stroke style, default line color and line width, and fill the transparent canvas with dark gray so we can actually see it. Oh, wait, yeah, okay. So let's Control C that. Being really careful here because, you know, this is where we can make some errors by cutting and pasting like that. If I just drop one character at the end, and you can see working in big text, it's pretty easy to do that. Then, of course, I'll create a bug for myself. So I want to be careful. All right. So the context stroke style is the color of our stroke. We made it default FFFFFF, which is white. And the line width, which is 1.0. We make a gray rectangle. Okay. Let's create our drop-down menu. So we create between chalk, a rectangle, or a line. Okay. So some event listeners, mouse down and mouse up. Get the mouse position. That will tell us what we selected. Get the tools event handler. Create a temporary canvas on top of the canvas which is cleared. Yeah, I love that. That's, by the way, as an aside, that's the way a lot of what you see is what you get editing screens where they have a text area in which all the content goes, and then they put something right above the text area where you see the nicely formatted text. That's a train going by. I love my trains. Alright, so let's put this in here. So I really don't like this style where nothing is indented. It's just, oh, right? Because, like, if you indented stuff, right, then you'd see that goes in there. Oops, that was caps lock. I didn't want to do that. And then that's there. So, and even here, I don't know why this didn't. Alright, okay. See, isn't that clearer? Alright, so you can see this is a function, mouse move function. So, if tool started, move this thing, right? Here's a mouse up function, right? And again, I'm still on caps lock. See, isn't that clearer? I find it clearer. And then we're going to call something called image update. Okay, we're closing something off here. See, I would indent the whole thing later on. You know, up here I'd indent stuff. So, anyhow, now I'm not going to mess around with that, but if I was doing production code, my code would look like this, and it would not look like this, which is a mess, honestly. I think it's a mess. All right, continuing on. We're here. Just made the line drawing function for the chalk. Obviously, well, not obviously, but our canvas still won't work at this stage. Let's do the rectangle tool. So there's the rectangle tool. Okay, that looks like the whole rectangle tool. Okay. And the line tool, same thing again. Capture, Control C, Control V. I'm not really learning how to create anything here. I'm learning how to cut and paste. But, you know, if I sat down and I analyzed this stuff, right, you know, so here's the tool, the line tool, right? and we're going to initialize some variables. If we haven't started the tool, we'll just return. If we have started the tool, we'll begin the line. We'll move to wherever the mouse is now, and then create a stroke, and that's a separate function. Okay, so that is a separate function. Well, that must be one of the ones defined above, right? It's gotta be. Anyhow, but we don't know because you can't see the format here. Okay, anyhow. And now we'll finally init. So this will initialize everything. Notice we call init after all of the code. Right, so all the code is loaded, then we do the init, and then we'll close off. And let's do that. Oops. There, and that's the end. I think that's all of the JavaScript there is. Okay. Alright, so let's save that. Control S to save. Let's check index. I'm going to go to the top of the page in the head. So yeah, you see he used a lower JS for JavaScript here, and canvas.js, not just canvas, but canvas.js. Alright, so it will call the script properly. Let's go back here. We'll go back to our HTML page. We'll create the tool selection using a basic HTML drop-down form tag. In other words, a select tag or select tool. All right. So directly below the start of the Blackboard placeholder tag, that's the div that we looked at before, and right before our canvas tag, we put this code in. Right, and that's, you can see, it's going to be above the canvas. So let's go in there. So right after that, here's our drop down tool, so it's inside the div, but just before where the canvas actually begins. Pull that back out, and so now that's nicely indented and looks good. So I sometimes even indent the options when I'm doing a select. Again, you know, logical structure. I usually work with smaller tab lengths too, but this is fine. I mean, it's big, right? So everything looks big, but this is fine. All right, let's go back to HTML. There we go. And that's it. Now we have a drop-down form. Let's add some styling to it. So this is some styling for, see, ID selector, positions absolute, margin top minus 30 px. I think that might, yeah, anyhow. And then some fonts and background colors. The no script is the style for the text in between the canvas tag that we never added above. Right. The text in between the canvas tag, that's the text that shows up if we don't have JavaScript enabled. So we've styled that text now that we never added above. In other words, we never added this styling above. Not the most well-written article in the world, but it's kind of comprehensible. So let's go to CSS and put our styling in. And again, this guy likes his little one-liners for things he thinks are less important, but it's not less important. And oops. If I select a bunch of things, I can indent them all together just by hitting tab, and I like that. Okay. And Like, you know, why is there an extra space there? What's the value of that? All right, Control S to save. Okay, now let's go back to our instructions. The no script is the style. Okay, right, we just covered that. Step 7, changing the color. Just to inform you, those are chalk pieces. Many people were telling me how they don't look remotely close to a piece of chalk. Actually, I think they're not bad. It's quite easy to change the color in HTML. All you need to use is the on-click function. So the function we use to change the color is on-click equals, and then, okay. So, sure, yeah. I use on-click all the time. On-click, and then here's the variable you want to change, and here's what you want to change it to. Notice you got to be careful with your quotation marks. These are the quotation marks for the on-click. This is the quotation mark for the style that we're using. Notice it's only a single quotation mark. Often in JavaScript, we might put the double quotation mark here if we're just writing a JavaScript file, but since it's embedded inside this on-click, we have to be careful. So let's put in the HTML markup for the chalk pieces. Control C, and we'll put that right above where the close canvas tag is, which makes sense, and that'll give us a little chalk tray underneath. So here's where it closes, but before the div. So okay, chalk pieces, and again we have to indent all of this so that we have a nice logical structure. Now every one of these is its own div, which means that they're going to have to be styled as inline divs, but we'll see what he's done. Otherwise you just get a whole, you know, like a stack of chalk pieces. All right, your HTML code should look like the following, and it does. Step 8, adding an eraser. And that's an image that simply has the same stroke color as the rectangle. Sure. All right, so let's do that. Oops, careful. Control C. And that's going to go here after the chalk, but before my canvas div closes. All right. And let's see. All right. I wonder what's creating all of that extra. Oh, okay. It's that browser message. Currently not supported. I'm just cleaning this up because that way, if I have some actual really wide content, you see, right now it really scrolls, right? Which means that if I had something that stuck out a lot, I wouldn't notice it. But now if I do this, see, I still have something that sticks out a lot, and I don't know what it is. So let's try to find that, because I shouldn't have anything that sticks out a lot. And I must have a blank line somewhere. Is this it? No? Huh. Isn't that weird? Somewhere something's really long. This is it right here. No? Huh. Weird. Still weird. I don't know why it's that wide. Maybe I'm worrying about nothing. Okay, well, I won't worry about it for now. I get distracted sometimes. I wonder if that killed my views. Nope, someone's hanging in there. So, okay, cool. Alright, back to where we were. Styling the chalk and eraser. Right. So, no problem. Oops, we don't want the numbers, so we'll just capture this. So, and there should be colors there. There we go. No, it's just the locations. A bit surprised I don't see any colors. And I don't like all this repetition, right? You know, why not just have, you know, like a generic chalk button where you define these things? Anyhow, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's wordy, but it doesn't matter. So we'll go back to the CSS. And there's all of our... You see, here's that habit of putting everything in one line again. I'm not going to expand it all, but I don't like it. Okay. Control S. Come back, we'll save this. Control S. Alright, where are we now? Changing the stroke weight. Yes. Again, all you need is an on-click function. But where do we put it? There we go. All the different on-clicks. So let's add some stroke. We need to place this outside the black. Well, I think he means inside the black. I don't know what he means, but I know where I want it. I'm going to see before the wrapper ends. Okay, outside the canvas element. You see, he's confused his terminology here a bit, but okay. All right, so outside the canvas element, but before the end. In other words, right after the eraser. So, and again, we'll indent this because here's some images. So, oh, and that's how he's styling all this stuff, is with an actual image. Okay. Right. Again, I wouldn't use images for these. I would have just used a red line, a blue line. It would load a lot faster and be a lot more reliable. And I might, if I don't have access to the images, I'm going to have to fix that. But it's good to know now. For now, he's just using actual images for these things. But again, better design would be just do it by code. You know, you don't need to load extra images. Now some CSS. Okay, that's CSS for this particular interface. We're almost there. Okay, Control C, and we'll put that into the styles.css. See, the problem with doing it this way, you see how we've done it this way, right? And how we're just following his instructions, but we haven't done any testing on the way at all. And that worries me. Now, it might all work, right? I've been pretty careful about putting stuff in and just making sure everything's just so, but it worries me. When I do coding just on my own, I do a lot of testing. So I'll do a little bit and then I'll test. I'll do a little bit and then I'll test, just to make sure. Okay, and in fact, let's see what it looks like right now. I mean, why not? So let's go to File, Open File, because we should be seeing some stuff. Index.htm. All right. So yeah, see, we don't have our images yet. So these are all broken. Here's our chalk and line and rectangle. That's good. Canvas is colored. Let's see if we can draw a line. See? That probably shouldn't happen. Rectangle. So, yeah. So, where did our canvas go? Why did it suddenly change? Console, rectangle, line. Okay, I opened up this console here just to see if we're capturing any error messages from JavaScript. I'm going to reload the page. Alright. So I'm just going to make sure errors is there. So, chalk, line, okay. So that's kind of odd. There's no errors. But, oh, hey. That's something. Alright. Well, that's pretty cool. I must maybe. No, oh, I see. That's white. This color is red. Okay. Oh, I don't like that one. I'll just put that one over here. I'm just going to capture this because this will be a good cover image for our thing. So, just to do a quick. I mean, I could. Well, actually, I could probably save that, couldn't I? Right click, save image as canvas.png. I mean, I don't like the fact that the black disappears, but now let's see. We'll open it up and oh, whoops. Canvas, let's open the containing folder. And yeah, so we don't capture that. We capture the canvas, but not the lines. So I'm going to have to use this little snipping tool for now. So, and here's the snipping tool interface. Snipping tool is moving. The only advantage to snip and sketch that I've seen is you can delay your snip by a couple of seconds. But otherwise, I use snipping tool all the time. So there we go. That's my image, file, save as, and I'll just call it canvas capture. So all else being equal, we'll make that the cover image for our video. But okay. So there's no JavaScript errors. There's the thing seems to work. I'll bet you our lines work as well. Yeah. And chalk, I don't know what that'll produce. Okay. And line. Right, you see the difference, eh? Okay. So that works. We can create stuff. Okay. Something. It's something. That's better than a lot of these videos produces. Okay. But you see why I want to test. Even though we're not done, it gives me hope. And it kept our one viewer entertained. Okay. All right. This is probably the most complex section of our tutorial. We will be using the image data JavaScript function to save the image. Okay, I didn't know there was. But first we need an image library. Yes, we do. We will use the canvas to image and the base64 library. Okay, if you haven't, you can download these files here and place them in your JS. Okay. Now this wasn't found. So now we've got a bit of an issue here. Canvas to image, we need these libraries, and the one link that we've been given doesn't work. And Nihil logic as a whole doesn't work. And this might be the breaker. Okay, canvas to image, and alright, canvas to image. So there is a library here, which comes with almost. Oh, okay, I see how this works. The canvas is the canvas, and canvas to image same as, and you can convert it to different types. All right, and there's the library, canvas to image.js. See, the indenting here is a bit better. Yeah, okay. So let's go back. We need to modify the canvas.js file. Yeah. All right, so let's save this in my JavaScript file. So online giant, whoops, where'd it go? Canvas to image. Now we need to be careful with saving stuff from GitHub. You can't just save the page, obviously. What you should be doing is cloning it to, but I'm too lazy for that. So here's the raw. You see what I did there? I clicked on raw. This is the actual raw code. And now I can save this, save page as canvas to image.js, and I'll save it in the right place. Not recommended procedure if I was building this for production, which I'm not. I wouldn't be doing it this way. But I'm just testing to see if I can get all this to work. So code project, canvas, JS, and again, 10 years difference. Who knows what's going to happen? All right, so that's that one. And the other one is the base64 library. So let's see. Oh, the README is just what we see here. Okay. Index.html. I wonder what that is. Okay, that's just an example of how to use this. Let's save that too, and we'll change the name of it, but we'll save it. So we'll go to the raw again, save as, and I'm just going to call this index CTI. And we'll save that. All right. And let's have a quick look at what we just saved. File, open file, index CTI. Right, there's a whole application here. Right. but without any controls. So and then save or convert to. And nothing seems to happen, but it's PNG is JPEG. Okay, so there's an image. Save image as. But I'll bet you that doesn't actually save as the image, as we discovered before. Let's try it anyways. We'll save image as. Call it X. Save. And we'll open this up. Oh, it does save okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? So I got two halves, right? I've got here's a canvas that saves but has no controls. Here's a canvas that sort of has controls but it doesn't save. All right. Anyhow, let's find the other thing that we were looking for, which was the base 64 implementation. I don't know if this is the same or different, or base 64. It's a base 64 transcoder. It's an npm install, which makes it complicated. Let's wait until I need that, and then we'll assess what we need. Okay. So I downloaded them, placed them in my. So now we need to modify canvas.js. Add the following to the bottom of your file. Okay. See, again, just a big blob of code, and it says add to the bottom. It's not going to tell me what it does, or well, it will, but essentially when you click the save button, it will convert your canvas to a PNG, and from there you'll be able to right click and download the image. Okay. All right, well, let's see. Window unload. Okay, so these are functions: save canvas, convert canvas. Now, those functions may or may not match the functions that are used in this, but we'll add these and then we'll see what's broken. And we're adding it to the canvas to JS. So at the bottom of this, okay. Window onload equals function. Okay. Sorry, this browser is not capable of saving. That's probably specifically for Internet Explorer. All right. And let's reload. Here's our drawing app. Let's reload it. And chalk, line, drawing a line. Oops, I'm still a white line. There we go. Save image as canvas PNG SSS. Just to give it a unique file name, right? Let's open containing folder. Oh, canvas PSS. Oh, there it is, right? So it obviously didn't save the canvas. All right, there's probably something else missing. See, test. And if this article was better, it would be telling me what I need to be testing. essentially when you click on the save, but we don't have the save button yet, so we need the save button. Add the code directly above the wrapper. Now that's interesting. So above the wrapper, so here's our index page. This is the wrapper. So he says above the wrapper. Not what I would have expected, but okay. Save image. So this is going to create the, well, it's going to create a broken image, but it'll create the control right above that place. Okay, so here's our drawing app. So it'll show up now above all of this. Oh, there we go. Right, save image. Right click the image to download. So click on save image. Cancel. So we've clearly got some styling issues here. These are our line controls. Not really elegant, is it? But I'm getting the idea, though, right? I mean, at least it's teaching me. It's not creating something successful, but I think I'll be able to find something successful. Now, oh yeah, now we need to style all of this a bit. So let's put some styling in. Control C. We'll add that to the end of our CSS file. Control S. Okay. Let's see if that's made our thing a little bit nicer. Yeah, not really. I think this is our, no, these are increase stroke, decrease stroke. That works. The styling is horrible, but it works. Oh, then this is nice. It's a little increment thing. So I like that. The save has completely vanished. Alright, let's go back to the instructions. The advanced color table. We should create a color table similar to the one used in Dreamweaver CS4. Remember that? That was ages ago. Here's the JavaScript, the color palette. So, okay. So let's throw that into the JavaScript. And I'm actually going to put it at the top so that it's, you know, actually no, we'll just throw it at the bottom. It'll be fine. There it is. Okay, and the controls to use it. This is the see this document ready function. We haven't seen that before in this particular thing, but that's from jQuery. So we're going to need jQuery to be included somewhere at the top of our HTML file. He hasn't said this yet. He hasn't mentioned anything. I came up with a solution that solely consists of JavaScript. Oh, well, yeah. See, he didn't like, and like I say, he didn't like his things. So, wow, this is getting really off the rails, but okay, so in the code above, we start by adding some functions to show or hide the color table ID in our HTML, which we'll get to in a minute. It's just basic jQuery, yes, it is. And we'll load the color table using the color codes. And for the HTML, immediately after the wrapper is started in your HTML. So, okay. So here's the index.htm. Immediately after the wrapper is started, here's, no, not that wrapper, this wrapper. I assume, put it here, color table. Okay. Right, so div ID equals, okay. So when we load it, it will actually load into this currently empty div, and then this div is to actually toggle it on and off. All right. And again, it's another image, so we're not going to see it. It'll be a broken image. Okay. And now let's add some styles to our color table. Okay. Canvas to image, online drawing app. Okay. We'll just add that to the end of our styles. Again, not really explaining anything, but color table, so that's the div, tells us the size of it. And then for each individual color inside, that'll be the size of the square. All right. And coming back to this, using the reload function to clear the campus. Sure. JavaScript location reload equals true, and basically, yeah, ID equals nuke. And where's you want it? Right after our color. All right. So in the index, we'll put it right after the color. Where's our color? Okay, color table, canvas begin. So let's put it here. Okay. So and these we'll actually see, I think. Okay. Oops, too far. Don't give me help when I didn't ask for it. All right. So, and again, another image as our button. And of course, some CSS. Nuke. Well, at least there's a sense of humor there. I like that. All right, so nuke, Control S. Again, another one of these one-line specials. And adding an extra feature to the stroke menu. The weight of strokes you were able to choose were a bit low. Right. Oh, that's the plus and minus button. We already saw that. So we'll write the HTML right above the ID stroke weight. Stroke weight. So let's find stroke weight in here. Index, Control F, stroke weight. There it is. Right. See, and here I'm pretty sure this is the same thing, right? Yeah, it's exactly. So he's actually already put it in, and now he's asking us to do it again. Obviously, we don't need to do that. Okay, but maybe we'll get some styling for it now. And now the CSS, here we go. Control C. See again, there's these images that he's using. A lot of this will look better once we load all the images, but again, we shouldn't be using images for these things. We should be using like excuse me, the font library or something like that. Anyhow, okay, so far so good. Adding tooltips, and that's the tipc.css. We don't really need the tooltips. Okay, Alex Moore, let's see what your final thing looks like without tooltips, because we don't really need them. And I have the feeling it's not going to work. Here it is. I know we haven't put the images in anywhere. Oh, there's something back there. Clear canvas. And yeah, so it's kind of neat. Our save just doesn't appear anywhere. And I'm pretty sure we didn't want save to be outside the whole thing. So I'm going to go back up here. And remember, I was sort of wondering whether we wanted this to be before the wrapper. Now I'm pretty sure we don't want it to be before the wrapper. So I'm going to put it inside the wrapper, and let's see if we actually see our save commands. So reloading. Oh, there it is, right? A little S for save image. So let's try, I'll pick a color, let's try to draw. Hey, it didn't disappear. That's nice. Let's try to save the image. There's no message or anything. That would be nice if we had a message. And I'm guessing a lot about save. Oh, but okay, that's good. So now I should be able to right click, save image as canvas, and I'll just call it canvas TTT. Save. Open the containing folder. Oops. Open the containing folder. No, it still didn't save. So it's not saving properly. Obviously, what's happening here is the function that this is calling isn't the function that exists. Oh, well, it might be because... Okay, a few things happening here. See, here's the toggle color thing, right? And that's not going to work either. So a few things are wrong here. Let's go back to the top. First of all, we know that we're using jQuery, but we haven't included jQuery anywhere in the page. It's not at the top, and it's not at the bottom. So nothing that's in jQuery is going to work. Also, we have canvas to image.js, but again, we haven't included it anywhere. So let's at least add that. So canvas to image. Oops. All right, Control S. So that at least creates the possibility that it might save. So now let's try loading this. Reload. Okay. I'll pick a color of chalk. Ooh, that's nice. Let's see, save. Again, I'm not seeing anything happen here, so I'm thinking it probably won't, but now let's try right-clicking. Save image as canvas. We'll open the containing folder. We'll click on the arrow. We'll open the containing folder. And, oops, that's TTT. Still nothing. Yeah. So now I don't think this requires jQuery, but it might. Yeah, it does. Or oh no, maybe not. But constant No, maybe not. No, I'm not seeing any jQuery in here. Ooh, lovely. So, all right. So I think that's what the story is here. I think that the the function that canvas to image uses is different from what's being called. Pretty nice though. Wish I could type like text, but I'll bet you now, okay. So canvas to image, photo library. I'll bet you there's a more modern version. Okay, well that was pretty cool though. Okay, we have a product that totally doesn't work. Nothing new there. But I started something that was 10 years old, and I kind of knew going into this that might be the issue. And yeah, we never saved the images for our interface, so that was going to create a problem right off the bat. I'm not even going to bother with it now. We never used jQuery, so we'd never get that nice little image thing popping up. This is what it's supposed to look like. See, and so these are all images. I guess that tray is an image. These are all images. That plus and minus is an image, and then the nuke to redo your thing, and the color selector and the save are images that are all supposed to appear up here. And then you just draw on it, right? And this is your little thing to draw. It might well have worked quite nicely with the see, he never. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. The Fug icon pack. These are images, right? Okay, I get it. I didn't think that they were images. I see. So, download Fug icons. I could have downloaded them, or maybe not. Save file. No, it's not gonna let me. This happens sometimes, and I don't know why it doesn't do that. I can do this. Download Fug icons. Save. Oh, it's just gonna. Yeah, here we go. Fug icons. And let's. Sort of curious to see if it would work. So let's code projects. D. Code project. Canvas. Images. Save. Now let's go into that directory. Canvas. Images. There's our zip file, icons, extract all. Alright, well, we'll just extract everything and then move it to where we want it. Ooh, look at them all. That's an awful lot of little images. But yeah, you see why people use Font Awesome. Font Awesome doesn't use little image files. Font Awesome is a well, it's a font basically, and well, maybe no. I'm not sure exactly how they define their images. I was going to say, they're stroked fonts, right? So, but I don't know that, so I shouldn't say that. So still waiting for this to extract. Oh, it's a lot of images. And waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Won't be long now. And this is a pretty powerful computer that's doing this, so it's amazing that there's so much in here that's taking this long to extract. Mind you, it's not using the solid state drive, but still, okay. Here's all the icons. Yeah, look at them all. Now, I'm pretty sure all my images just go to a subdirectory of image. Yeah, they all just... So, the quick hack to make this work will be to take all of the images and all these icons and copy them from Abacus all the way down to zones stack. Control C, and I'll just pop them all in the images directory. Copying 3570 images. There they are. And now let's see if they show up when I go to run my application. And they do not. Oh yeah, there's the plus and minus. Oh, there's my little chalk brush thingy. I don't have a tray. Don't have this. I don't have the toggle color image. Craziness. Just crazy. Why don't I have these images? Reload image. Open image in new tab. bg.gif, right? Right, it's not going to be a GIF, is it? These are all PNGs, and there's not even a BG, is there? No. No, there isn't. You go from Bell to Billboard, no BG. So even these little images, we downloaded all of these images, and we're only using 2 of them. Craziness, just craziness. So, all right. So obviously this wouldn't be our solution. Let's take a quick look. Remember, I had a backup. Here's my I don't know. Yeah, here's my backup. Grading and drawing on an HTML canvas using JavaScript. Select a canvas starter boilerplate. Final code for this tutorial. Canvas shapes basics. Yeah. I'm just quickly looking through this to see the canvas coordinate system. But wait for the DOM. Rectangles, squares, the result. So I like this. The result. And now I kind of know how all this works. I'm just wondering, yeah, see, these are all just different styles that you would plug in. Do like this. And now I'm just wondering if there is a thing that will let me download it all. Okay, the canvas rendering context 2D, part of the canvas API. That's all in developer. Okay, let's pop in there. Okay, now we're into the Mozilla Developer Network page, and here's all the text styles, shadows, paths, drawing paths, transformations, etc. And they're all basically variations on what we've seen with the lines and the rectangles, right? But is there a thing? Yeah, browser compatibility, Internet Explorer, lots of no's. Create conic gradient mostly doesn't work. A few other things don't work. But basic example. Yeah. This code draws a house. Yeah. So that's how you would do it. So first of all, you create the canvas in the interface with the canvas API. There are commands to, for example, so CTX is context. So we create a context, which is a canvas basically. Begin path, move to, and so this would draw the house itself. But if we're using an actual interface, basically what happens is you'd start with the mouse click. So I've clicked now. You move the mouse, you unclick. That would translate it to a line 2. And that's how you draw your line. There should be out there somewhere in the world a nice application that does this that I could just download and run. So let's try canvas drawing JavaScript app. So this is something else. Learn HTML5 canvas by creating a drawing app, but unfortunately it's a video. And then we got HTML canvas drawing application on GitHub pages. And some Medium article. Here's something in CodePen. Sorry, your browser is rubbish instead of a thing. Alright. Oh yeah, this works. Does it have the save? No, it doesn't have any controls or anything. Right. So, but if we were to look at the JavaScript, ooh, and it's all the comments are in Chinese. That's so cool. Alright. But yeah, you see the add event listener, mouse down, mouse move, right? So we're using event listeners to figure out where the mouse is, and then once you lift up on your mouse button, we use that mouse data to fire off one of these line 2 commands. Create a drawing object, draw on the canvas. Yeah, that's really simple. HTML game. Don't want to have to create one of these from scratch if I can avoid it. Where'd my search go? Here we go. See how you end up with a whole bunch of a whole bunch of tabs in your browser. I've lost it. Okay, Canvas, JavaScript, drawing, app, GitHub. Maybe it'll give me some code. Here we go. HTML5 Canvas drawing application. Ooh, look at this. You have to install Node, install Gulp. I get it, but that's all 4 years ago. Okay. Look at all the different events. jQuery, alternatives. Oh, isn't that neat? I couldn't find anything like it at the beginning of 2013. I believe it. Well, this most recent is 2017. wpaint.js. That's pretty cool. Little tiny thing. The jQuery Paint plugin. Download. It's from 2014. Let's see what this looks like. Literally Canvas. Pretty ugly. So you're seeing the same sort of thing is happening here. Yeah. Not maintained, uses outdated tools, and hasn't been used for years. In 2016, yeah. So let's use tools anytime past year. And here's something interesting. Web canvas that can support pen touch pressure. That's neat. Index. That's mostly from 5 years ago. How does this happen? Okay. Canvas environment for Node. There's a pen tool. That's pretty neat. Okay, this is nice. It gives me a couple of options. Either through content distribution network or through npm to install it locally. Import pen tool from pen tool. So there's lots of stuff out there. 4 months ago, somebody's doing a recent project. That's pretty cool. Simple drawing tool made with JavaScript. Choose fill paint mode, save in your collection. So it does your basic stuff. There's the application itself. Wow, that really is simple. See the event listeners? I like that. Index reset.css. Yeah. Let's pull this and try it. So what I'm going to do here, you see I just copy the address. This is paint.js. So I'm going to go into here. This is my whole canvas thing. Now I can ignore all the rest of the stuff, but what I'm going to do is go back up to my main canvas directory. Let's close that. So there's what there is, right? So I'm going to open a terminal, new terminal, right? So git clone, and then the address I just copied. So it's going to clone. You see now it just added this subdirectory paint.js. I'll click in there, and now here's like the index and all of that. So, and now I can just try it out. Okay, file, open file, paint.js, index, open, and there it is. Fill, save. Oh, isn't that elegant? Open with photo. Well, it's still going to do that to me, so let's just. Oh, man. This is a bug that Windows has, and I've seen this before, where it won't ungray the OK button. So I'm going to do this automatically and hit enter. No, enter won't work. There we go. And that does work. Okay, so I could take this and just plug it into Grasshopper, and I have my it's weird, but if I hit enter, maybe that'll, yeah, I don't know why. It's just a weird little bug. So that's cool. And okay, I guess this is my line thickness control. Oops, it's pretty thick. Change color. Oh, that must be the flood fill. So it's all right. Fill paint. Okay. So it's actually the opposite of what that says. All right, and now. Oh, and it fills the whole thing. Let's try that again. So I might need a thicker line to make this work well. Oh. There we go. Now let's try filling it with something. No, it's still gonna blast through and do everything. So, but anyhow, yeah, this is pretty simple, right? So I could take this, and actually, how easy would this be? Well, let's look. Here's my code, the index.html, and then the reset, so some styles and some JavaScript. Here's the app. So yeah, there's different ways I could do this, but well, I'm not going to worry about that now. It's almost lunchtime. Okay, so here's the story then. There is a thing called Canvas on web pages that you can create. that help you build drawing applications. And the drawing applications run using JavaScript, and there's different ways of doing that. But basically, they capture mouse events and convert those to commands to the Canvas API. The Canvas API basically does things like line 2, and then you can create more complex modules. Like, so for a rectangle, if I had a rectangle and it's on Paint. If I had a rectangle and I drew a line like this, and really think about what's happening here. I click my mouse, I move my mouse, and I unclick my mouse. Now for line, it's just going to be wherever my mouse actually went, for this kind of line. For a straight line, all it cares about is where I started and where I finished, and then it'll just draw a straight line between those points. For a rectangle, it gets where I started and where I finished, and then it'll draw the rectangle for those points, etc. Right? So you use these functions. And each one of these things, a line, a rectangle, whatever, is one or more commands to the Canvas API. So there's all of that, and then there's the mechanism to save, which basically takes the Canvas element on a web page and converts it to, if you will, whatever kind of image file you want, like a PNG, and then optionally can give you a way to save it like that, just by opening up the save interface, which here for me right now is being buggy, right, and requiring that I hit enter an extra time for some reason, but then it would save it, and there it is, it's saved. I can open it up as an image, and there it is, which is lovely. For my purposes, for Grasshopper, I'd want to capture that save thing that's happening, and instead of just saving it to my local desktop, I'd want to be able to save it to the remote file system or to the cloud or somewhere. And I'm sure there are mechanisms to do that. I just need to find them. So what I need to make this all work in Grasshopper is first find a good Canvas application that I can borrow. I could write one. That'd be a lot of work. Why create extra work? I'll just find one. Then secondly, create a tab element. So I'll actually write some code and create a tab that would either go at the top level here, or more likely in the second level, so that when I say make a new file, right, I could make a new file, and then here, instead of just uploading or importing, I'd also be able to have a tab, which is basically draw or something like that, and you draw it, and then when it was saved, it'd save like an uploaded or imported file somewhere into the file system. That's basically what I would do. So that's it. That's it for now. I've learned quite a bit of stuff. I do not have a drawing application. I kind of didn't really expect to have one to start, and it really sort of didn't matter so much. I'll mess around. There's no point doing this on video, right? But gee, that looks pretty nice. Wow. See, pip install. Oh, so that's gonna be Python, which I don't want. I want JavaScript. So, and the reason why I want JavaScript is so that it'll run right in the browser, and you don't need to install server-side code and all of that, because it's just too much for me. I don't want to do that. Canvas whiteboard. So bump to Angular 10. So this uses the Angular framework. Doesn't need to, but it does. Let's build a drawing application using React in Canvas, right? So I'm not using Angular or React. I want to keep things as much as possible to native JavaScript so that I'm not caught up in these libraries and the heavy loads, etc. Anyhow, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. See if there's anyone still listening. There's one person been watching almost throughout. I don't know if they just lost connection there or whether they were replaced almost right away by a new person. But to the one person who's been watching this, thanks for watching. And I'm going to save this now and end the stream and save this and go have lunch and think about what I've discovered. And we'll see you next time on Stephen Follows